Now, the flags, which I've mentioned previously as part of the individual report, these are the green, amber, red, quick communications of things in school. So you can see we can do it for early years or primary. Enable means it's visible. It might be only relevant for a term or a year, so you can then remove it from those visuals. You will always create a flag and then you'll apply it. Now that's the same for everything in the edit settings menu. So we've created the flags. So now we load up the relevant class and we apply those flags that will appear in their individual reports. And to change is quite simple. Most schools will have a policy, if it's a red flag, they want the parent or carer to make an appointment at the office with the class teacher. Again, that is optional for the setting. Down here, we have the ability to keep records on each child. Key events is only seen by the administrator. That is confidential information you can record in and around the child that only you should have access to. It could be an emerging picture about whether you think that child's presenting well, is clean, chronically late, etc. Now, key events, interventions, custom attributes are all exactly the same process. So as an example, I'll show you how to create an intervention or what might be called additional support. So there's existing interventions, but to create one, it really is quite straightforward. Description, it could be speech and language if it was an external agency. It could be something you're doing within school to do with number. You would give it a name. There's the examples above, phonics. Is it in early or primary? And you enable it. As soon as you add that, it is on the list, and as with all your other interventions and filters, you then apply it to the relevant year groups, classes, and children. You'll see you've got early and primary. So we load it up. We have a date to start, which we can manipulate. We apply it, and then the date becomes live, and that is for you to record impact. So quite simply, you could talk about the key next steps that you want them to achieve. It is date set, smart set, measurable. You can keep a record of that and then record the impact at the end of that intervention. So running record, and at the end you archive it and you've got evidence of that intervention, and that will appear in their individual report area. So as with all the system, you've got everything in and around a child in the same place. It works the same for additional supports and for key events. As the administrator, you have the ability to communicate key information with the users every time they log in, which is on the dashboard. Now, this can be purely deadlines for assessment, when assessments are due in, when pupil progress meetings are, parents' evenings are, or it can be a little more informative than that. You could have key summary documents of CPD you've done, and they could be uploaded there so they're available regardless of where the practitioner is, if they're working from home, or basically they can access it anywhere with connectivity. So termly guidance, again, works very similar to the system. There's an example of termly guidance that we have used, which is basically just an assessment timetable. You can create termly, half-termly guidance simply by adding a title the date when it starts and when that term, half term finishes. If it's early or primary, if you have early and primary essence, when they log in, the practitioner will obviously see it specific to their key stage. Then you can manually add text, or as with the case above, paste in documents. As soon as you save that and that date occurs, when the user logs in, dashboard, the first thing they see is ultimately what you want them to see, key information that underpins assessment.